In a year that the Detroit Lions were considered Super Bowl contenders, 2 years after falling in the NFC Championship game after being up 17 at the half, the Detroit Lions season is slowly slipping away. And it's not over yet. The Lions are still in this thing until they're not. I'm going to be a believer in that. However, I will say this. No matter what run they go on, if that run ends short of a Super Bowl berth, this season was a failure. That's just the bottom line. This channel is not going to become doom and gloom. It never was. It's going to be, it's always been a reality channel. And the reality is the Detroit Lions are not good enough, like I said the other day, to play with the big boys. We still at the kiddie table. And it's one man's fault. That's it. Bottom line. It's one man's fault. If you want to get better, you get better. You do what it takes to get better. And here's the thing. Here's the beauty part. The worse the Lions do, the more egregious Brad Holmes, the failures are, because when he was doing well, it was, oh, he's doing well. Now that he's not. Now that the cracks are not only showing, they're exposed. Now you guys want to pay attention. I've been screaming about a pass rush for literal years. And your general manager told you he didn't care about it. So we're going to see how much you care this offseason. And if Sheila is who I think she is, she getting a little tired. But you know what? We're going to have a whole lot of time to talk about that. We might be talking about the offseason during the season. And it's been a long time, Detroit Lions fans, since we had to do that. Didn't take long now, did it? That's what happens when your general manager feels like he's the smartest man in the room. We're not going to trade. We're not going to trade and reach for a player, but we'll trade for Broderick and reach for Broderick Martin. Never forget, bro, ever. Anyway, the Detroit Lions have made some roster moves. I'm feeling some type of way, as you can see. They made some roster moves. Dan Campbell dropped a whole lot of knowledge today, and none of it is really good. Says the Lions have signed tight end Giovani Ricci and running back Jabari Small to the practice squad, and they have released cornerback Trey Flowers. Now, you guys might recall that Trey Flowers, we signed him a couple of months ago. Jabari Small, he played on our team during the preseason. If I'm not mistaken, I really believe that he's a guy that should have made this team. If I'm not, I think it was small, like it was really small and sailors that were going at it. And I know I haven't made a video about this, but just in case you didn't know, Craig Reynolds, the former Detroit Lions running back that was on Hard Knocks and all that stuff and had made the team, the Kutztown running back, he is now a New England Patriot. So at least he went to a winning team and he didn't go to some like disaster team. He cleared waivers and now he's over there. So Craig, hey, appreciate you, my man, and do your thing in New England. But I want to say that Small, he was playing pretty well during the preseason, and he was cut down on that 50 when we had to get to 53 men on at the end of the preseason. But the reason that we wind up that this is kind of a big deal is because we got some information today that Brock Wright, he might be done. He might, like, this season is really, really turning depressing. I feel like this season is super depressing, man. It's even worse to me than the 3-13-1, because 3-13-1, there were no expectations, right? Zero expectations. And we took that into 2022, and the first half of 2022 sucked. And then we had all this excitement. Think about what I'm about to say, y'all, because all I do is spit facts, period. The Lions, when we have not felt this since that point in 2022. When the Lions were 1-6, we fired Aubrey Pleasant. Sheila came out and defended Brad and Dan and confirmed her trust in them. We have not, this season feels worse than that because the expectations this year were crazy. But Brock Wright, who got flipped upside down, and when I saw the injury, man, he landed on his head. I was like, ooh, that looks really bad. Turns out that it is bad. We don't know how bad yet, but Dan Campbell like, yo, this could be lingering. Like, it could go past this season. Speaking of past this season, Kirby Joseph is not going to play. He will now miss, his 7th game. And I love Kirby Joseph. 7th game, never was put on IR. So we never created a roster spot. It looks like we're going to roll with Harper. I mean, we could get to the point where I'm thinking Kirby going to be back against the Rams. I'm thinking there's an outside chance he can play because we never put him on IR. And now he might not even play this year. Like, it's crazy. We don't know when he's going to play at all. But Just what a tragedy, man, that this season has become. And I don't know about y'all, but I am severely disappointed. Severely disappointed, man. Now, Giovani was not drafted. He was undrafted, of course, because not only is that what the Detroit Lions do, that's how they outside of the draft picks and the hits, that's how they built we have built our team off undrafted people, and some have worked out, some have not. I mean, like I said, man, it's time to get talent on this team. Speaking of talent, Dan Campbell's press conference today was telling. It was so telling, and I wish I had the time to go over it. As a matter of fact, if you guys want me to do that today, I can do it after Sunday Night Football. We can get on at 11:30 and we can go over this press conference because I think it's very telling. If not, we'll try to get it. We'll try to do it tomorrow. But today I saw vulnerability from Dan Campbell. I think he realizes that this season is all but lost because the margin for error is super duper slim. It is time for Brad Holmes to take his foot out of his behind, his head out of his behind, and get this team better. That's it, bro. Like I'm done. Pull it out and get this team better. That's it. That's why I could never meet him. I can never meet him. I can meet him and be like, yo, I'm one of the fans that you don't have to call the police on me, but I'm not going to be like, I might fanboy a little bit because it's like, yo, wow, what are the odds? But I'll be like, yo, y'all will never believe this. I met Matt Patricia in 2020. I met him random. And I told him, I'm not even kidding, trade for Everson Griffin. I was still talking about the pass rush with our former regime. Crazy. He said he was trying to make this pass rush better, and nobody believed me. And then after the trade, during the trade deadline, I think it was right before that or right after we wound up trading for Everson Griffin. He was that year's Zadarius Smith back in 2020, I think it was 2020. It was that year. So, but anyway, y'all gonna believe me one day. That's the key to winning it all. You got to be able to get to the passer. But let's take a look at some information about Giovani, and his last name is pronounced Ricci. Giovani Ricci. And this is coming from NFL Prospects. So he is a prospect grade of average backup or special teamer. And you guys can barely see that. So, I mean, that's what this team has really been built off of out of the draft. If you go down and take a look at where Lance had him as a 7th round pick or a priority free agent. And we know that he wound up being undrafted. So that's what he calls undrafted as a priority free agent, because you are an undrafted rookie free agent when the draft is over. Here's the overview. It says converted wide receiver who has added weight and possesses the catch toughness to be considered a viable matchup tight end. Ricci is a good athlete and a very good route runner with the ball skills to create trust with his quarterback. However, he's going to have to improve his play strength and get more physical inside his route to factor as a pro. Here's the strengths. It says former receiver with loose, athletic gait in open field. Has early acceleration to challenge seam. Has added 40 pounds of good weight on his frame since the start of his college career. Routes are crisp with some detail to leverage. Looks to find football immediately out of breaks and turns. Nimble feet in space after catch. Excellent ball skills to extend and snare throws over his head. Impressive catch focus when it's noisy near him, so that's a good thing. Quick hands to pluck and tuck through contact. Hyper aware of sidelines, inlines, and dots feet accordingly after catch. Okay, well, that sounds like somebody that should have been drafted to me. Let me see what these weaknesses are. Says frame is below desired NFL standards at the position. Has some rough outings at point of attack. Blocks like a converted wide receiver. Unable to land and sustain run blocks with much success. Benefited from numerous free releases and rubs for early route freedom. Could struggle getting off the line against NFL press. Needs to become more physical at top of the route. Average late creation of catch space. Now, here's something that we didn't do before that we're going to do now. Find out what the sources were telling them back during the draft. I kind of see him as a specialist, a big receiver type. We don't really use that type of H-back in our offense, but he's a good athlete and he's got some nice hands and instincts out there. And that is from a national scout for an NFC team. Who knows? Maybe it was the Detroit Lions. Maybe it was the Detroit Lions. Now, I think he did spend some time on the Minnesota Vikings. As a matter of fact, so wait a minute. Okay, I was wrong. I was wrong. I had clicked on the wrong button. He actually does have some NFL stats. So I think he was actually undrafted, but, well, he was undrafted for sure, but I think he was, you can see this is a Minnesota Viking uniform, but he does not have any stats with the Minnesota Vikings. He actually played, receiving. So he played 16 games in 2021, 15 games in 2022, and 2023, 5 with the Panthers. And so he has not played in the past on a team in a regular season game in the past year. So again, I know that I sound bitter. I'm not bitter. To me, it's like this used to be exciting. It's not anymore. That's what you hear from me. This whole practice squad thing, undrafted thing, we've been here, man. It is time for some talent on this team. The reality is this. Brad Holmes, I don't know about Dan Campbell because Sheila might view, she's going to judge them separately, in my opinion. If you go back to Bob Quinn, think about this. So Jim Caldwell was here. Bob Quinn came here. Bob Quinn was never in favor of Jim Caldwell. In my opinion, he was waiting on waiting on a reason to fire him. And after a winning season, he fired him. 9-8, 9-7 wasn't good enough, and we can't beat the good teams. Everybody knew Matt Patricia was coming here. Everyone knew it. As a matter of fact, I was making content from my car about it. And I said from my car in 2018, I said Matt Patricia will set us back 6 years. Fast forward to 2 and almost 3 years. Matt Patricia didn't even last 3 years. He was fired, right? Quinn was fired with him. So I think that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are going to be evaluated. Judge was a really harsh word. Evaluated separately. And I think it's fair. I think all coaches and GM should be. But if a GM brings in a guy, then that's when you get tied together. And it's a good thing for Dan Campbell that Brad Holmes did not bring in Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell was here first. Dan Campbell got the longer contract from the gate. Dan Campbell was the one. Brad Holmes, I don't know where he came from. I know he came from the Rams. You know what I'm saying? I have no chill. I'm done. I told y'all, man, I'm all out of bubble gum. The novelty, we knew we were going to suck when Stafford left. Think about this. This team, this is our 5 years. We fired it literally 5 years ago, yesterday. This has been the 5 years. We fired Matt Patricia after getting brutalized on Thanksgiving. We fire him 2 days later. We hire Dan Campbell. We hire Brad Holmes. We have to hear about the meathead, the media man, the meathead head coach that we have. We suck year one. We already knew it. Give me 5 people outside of Jared Goff, St. Brown, any of the big name people. Give me 5 people that was on this team in 2021 that are not household names right now. So we have to then watch our quarterback win a Super Bowl, his first year away from Detroit. Then we get, by the grace of the Jaguars, they gift us Aiden Hutchinson. We are 1-6 to start that season. The reason I'm painting this picture, because you blink your eye, it's been 5 years, but I'm trying to tell you where we came from and why this affects me the way that it does. Because if you really look at it, maybe we did overachieve. Maybe we did have that window in 2023 that we should have done something. Maybe I was the one telling you that. In 2022, we suck. I'm saying how the Detroit Lions can make the playoffs. We almost did it. We needed a Baker Mayfield miracle in week 18 to get in there and then handle business against the Green Bay Packers. I feel defeated now like I felt watching the fact that we had to play that game. Game 272, last game of the regular season, Sunday Night Football. knowing that we were going to eliminate the Packers, but knowing we weren't going to the playoffs no matter what happened. And I was so proud of my team. You know what I did? This is on camera. The Seattle game was at 4:25. So I had like 45 minutes to gather myself, knowing that we were done, but we still had a game to play. And I said, if my team has to go out there and play, I have to finish this too. Do it. We put Green Bay out of the playoffs. We send Seattle, and we send Aaron Rodgers out of the NFC. And it was that moment. It was that moment of the 1-6 start to the 9-8 to the half game, the tiebreaker that kept us out the playoffs, that propelled this team to a whole level of excitement. The 2023 offseason was insane. It was so much hype building for this team, and we came out and we didn't disappoint. We still, for the life of us, cannot start 2-0. As a matter of fact, I don't think Dan Campbell has started 2-0. The Lions haven't started 2-0 in a long. I think Stafford was a quarterback the last time the Lions started 2-0. We just cannot do it. We come out there, we doing our thing. So I think this little 2-year window of us being good really did something to us. The excitement from 2022 to 2023 was something I had never felt. 2023 was brutal. Losing that NFC Championship game was brutal. Still will haunt me forever. I was there. You guys sent me there. Brutal. 2024, we come out. We killing everybody. We're getting killed. Losing everybody. We get to the playoffs. First seed. Home field advantage. And we cannot sack Jaden Daniels. For any Bears fans that's watching this video, I also feel like that your head coach, another reason that I call him what I call him, okay, and I feel the way that I feel, I think his head wasn't where it should have been. That's just my opinion. From the play calling to thinking about being a head coach, I just don't believe in my heart that his head was fully in our game. Hopefully you guys can understand that. Now we go to 2025, and we doing the same thing. The results of a mystery man practice squad team are going to be the same. They're going to be the same. So that's where we are. So this isn't going to turn into one of those channels. It's already been one of those channels. The difference is the excitement level. How excited are you right now? Lions fans, how excited are you right now? If it walked like a duck, it quacked like a duck, it's a doggone duck. If you keep doing the same thing you've been doing. Let's not forget, I said this in yesterday's video. Brad Holmes had 2 first-round picks for 2 years. That is the foundation of our football team. You take those away, pedestrian. But Giovani Ricci, welcome to the squad. Jabari Small, welcome back to the squad. It ain't over. It ain't over. The offseason is too long for me to be thinking about it. Lions, we've been there our whole life where we talk about the offseason in week 5. The football season is one of the shortest seasons of any sport. It might be the shortest. Basketball runs forever. Baseball goes on forever. Football, the actual season, is from September to January. And it used to end in December before the 17th game. And we have a whole month of football left, and we might not be playing for anything. But it ain't over yet. But I will tell you what, this offseason is going to have a completely different feel from the ones before. It really is. 38 people under contract. Defensive line with 5 on it. Massive decisions that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have to make. And oh, by the way, the fellas need an extension. They got 2 years left. They got 2 years left. They got extended when they had 2 years left before. Dan had 3, Brad had 2. So if Sheila's going to do it, if we get through the offseason and there's no extension, yeah, that means there's a thought process there. See, the first time they earned an extension, they got to earn another one. I told y'all, man, I love my football team. I've been here for 30 plus years. I love my football team. I am some of you. The only difference, I'm sitting in front of a microphone, a giant lion, and a studio. That is all. That's it. Instead of a couch. And I'm vocal because I have a platform. I started off as one of you because I'm still one of you who sits in a studio that he built in his basement. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. I hope you guys understand the subscriber thing. The subscriber, I've hoped that YouTube done this for forever, and they finally got it. You might see it on some channels. I don't have it yet, but I love this. I love this, man, because we can't control who watches, but we can control who comments. And if you value me enough to hit to watch me, you're probably, and this is really why I'm doing it though. We got a lot of people who watch this. They cannot ever shut up. They always got something to say in the comment section. They just chat away, chat away, chat away. They watch me every day. They look forward to me every day, but yet they won't hit the subscribe button but they get, and they get a chance to speak, and all they do is criticize over and over and over. I know it sounds like I do that with Brad Holmes, but I give him his love. So this is to clear out the riffraff is what this is. So that's a decision that they're going to have to make. They can watch away, but as far as subscribing, that's when you will get able to comment. And I'm going to tell you what else too that I thought about. This will help it make it easier for me to be able to respond to y'all. Because if they watch and don't comment and they haven't been subscribed, then that's going to make it easier for me to actually give you guys the attention that I be trying to do. It's hard. I make a lot of content. It gets a lot of interaction. It's right now I prioritize members because there's so many comments, but I appreciate that. That means that this community is solid, but at the same, so it helps more ways than one. And YouTube is always, they don't always make the best decisions, but this one is a great one. We'll see if it hurts the channel. The numbers that I get, the returning viewers that I have is insane. Like I said before, if you guys were subscribed to, if the people that watch this channel were subscribed, I would be over 50,000 easy. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. It's something in the air, man. There's a different feel, and there's going to be a different, we haven't felt this in 3 years. Lions might lose their first 2-game lose streak in 2 years. And I feel like if that happens, that's a sign that the season is done. See you soon.